Hello and welcome to Be Powerful with Liz and Lee. It's a new day and we're so glad you're here.
So you can expect to hear candid conversations on what it means to be powerful. Live authentically, live in the midst of ups and downs, productively, and above all else, joyfully.
We are so thankful for you, our community of listeners, and we hope you enjoy today's show. All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lee.
How are you?
I'm happy. How are you?
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
I just saw something actually yesterday, and it said, would you rather be happy or comfortable?
Happy. I like being happy. Of course,
Right?
comfortable is nice too, but a lot of people do like err on that side and just get comfortable being unhappy.
Well, I think that's
Right?
the differentiation of if you're comfortable, then you're just kind of
Yeah. You're
Surfing.
accepting of all kinds of things that
Yeah.
make you not so happy. Today, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Good
too.
night's sleep, great breakfast, smoothie, good things happening.
You're pumping the antioxidants.
I
today.
am. I told her I was going to be a superhero. I was doing so many antioxidants today between my lion's mane in my coffee and my my what is it called, matcha tea.
You're on a roll.
I mean, I'm about ready to take wings. I mean,
Well, the real reason we've got to really stay on the straight
Yes.
narrow early is because this afternoon we are having a guacamole cook-off.
yes, we are with my grandson and granddaughter.
Yeah, well, it's really Lee versus granddaughter.
It's really Lee versus Aubrey Gray.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. And I'm excited
I think
because
that's hilarious because your daughter asked if they could come over for a couple hours this afternoon. Yes,
Yeah.
great, awesome.
uh-huh.
Let's play. And then she said the real reason they want to come over is that she wants to do a guacamole cook-off, and they've been not harvesting,
Yes.
but collecting perfect avocados.
Yes.
And I am also playing this game.
Yes, yeah.
So
and I'm here
I'm not
for
going
it.
easy.
I'm going to be the perfect judge. Me and my grandson are going to be the perfect judge. We'll be upstairs playing ping pong while you guys like duke it out in the kitchen, and then we'll just go down
See
and
who
go at it.
wins. I know.
But again, that's some good stuff too. That avocado dip, the way you make it. Now we'll see what my granddaughter does. We'll see.
We'll see. I think she's probably been watching TikToks and found
Yeah,
something.
probably.
And got a bee
Yeah.
in her bonnet.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited.
hopefully I sound normal. I am wearing my rubber bands on my braces today because
Why?
I'm supposed to wear them overnight and it doesn't feel good. And that's just BS. So
The saga
I'm gonna
of the
wear
teeth.
them.
The
Y'all,
saga.
it's like 5 more weeks.
Y'all,
you don't have
seriously,
to ever hear about it
You
again.
don't have to hear about it much longer, right? Yeah. So we thought we would segue from nutrition,
Yes.
physical health. We really hit the workout pretty hard last week, don't you think?
Yeah, we did. So in episode 91,
Mhm.
last week we discussed exercise, and in
Mhm.
89, two back, we discussed nutrition. So let's
Mhm.
make that a triangle and
Mhm.
talk about
Yeah.
a third point.
The equal, and sometimes the most important point is our mental health.
Yeah.
Right. So we know all the studies,
We
or
are.
maybe we don't. Now
Yeah,
let's
we're
just
not certified.
Let's do one disclaimer. No, let's do like 4 disclaimers. Okay. A, we are not psychologists. B, we are not nutritionists. C, we are professional exercise people. So check. So what we'll do is we'll talk about what works for us.
Yeah, as it relates to us, what we've experienced and going through, et cetera, et
Mhm.
cetera. And I think not the most important, I think a huge aspect is that all these three things really play into each other. Right? You've got to fuel yourself with proper nutrition in order to exercise properly, in order
Right.
to feel well.
Right.
You've got to move your body in order to feel well. And so I think these 3 things are really
Mhm.
kind of round out this discussion.
Right.
And it's important and speaks to everyone, I think.
I agree. And just to put one little tiny, teeny study from Harvard in, the study says that if you do 20 minutes of walking or running per day, it will decrease your real depression. I mean, this is in real major depression by 26%.
Wow.
Only they can figure out how it's 26%. But the fact is that is just one component. That is simply moving your body
Right.
20 minutes a day. That's, to me, that just says everything,
It does. It does. And I think we know that movement always makes us feel better. We hear about endorphins.
we sleep better.
Yep. Our mood feels elevated.
Right. We can be more creative with whatever it is we're doing with our work or with our families or with our relationships. So,
And it's, you were in the garden yesterday and that felt
It's so
so
great.
good. And that is movement, the up and down and the digging and the being in nature. And I think as much as the workout is
Yes.
always going to be efficient and effective and work, you've got to find those other ways to just move
Right.
a little bit more
and
each
count
day.
those. I mean, this was my day off of Hilliard Studio Method workouts. And so I moved, I was tired last night.
That's the
I was
point.
digging, I was carrying, I was
Yeah.
doing, and I was out in nature. It was beautiful. The weather
Yeah,
was
it was.
gorgeous. And that just makes you feel good, especially being out in nature. I mean, I think the movement aspect inside is is great. But boy, every time you can get outside and walk or run or garden or whatever you want to do outside.
Hula hoop.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, play tennis, all those good things, golf.
Right.
These are really mental releases and incredibly good for your overall well-being. Again, if your mental health is good, you're going to be more apt to move your body. Movement begets movement, remember? And sedentariness begets that and also begets not feeling so great about yourself.
Right. I mean, the other day I didn't have a lot of movement and I didn't sleep as well. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wearing your body out, preparing it to be tired
Right.
and sleep makes perfect
Right.
sense to me.
Right.
So anyway, let's talk about mental health and how
Okay.
you're feeling about that, yours in general. We've gone
Mhm.
through a couple really hard years as a world and
Yes.
just kind of where you stand and what you do to deal with it.
Right. Well, what I do is I write in my journal, and because the world and I mean, if you can go all the way down to your community, to your city, your state, and then to the world, there is so much angst and anger and fear that is just like it's a noise that is always there,
Ever
and
present.
it's easy, very easy to allow that to permeate who you are, and so. Sometimes, just like everybody else, I forget. But the fact is I'm really glad I keep a journal because I looked this morning. I was telling you I had not done it in a few days, and the other day I wrote in my journal the bleakest things. And so today I realized when I had my candle going beside my computer, cracked my window, listened to the birds, was feeling good, had a good night's sleep, had moved and felt good about things that were going on here. I was glad I had written that down because I then remembered that was not who I was. I was being infected and influenced by the world around me and I mean, if you try to compare yourself or if you allow your shields to drop and all that hatred and divisiveness that we have to enter your body, then you're going to be depressed. And I was definitely depressed writing my journal.
Right.
And so I realized I don't know what was going on that day, but whatever, maybe it was lack of sleep, lack of movement, whatever it was. We have those days. And so what we can do to keep them in check, we're not going to say, oh, we're never going to have a bad day again.
Right.
We're going to say, oh, when the bad days come, get up and do that thing you don't want to do, which is if you move your body. I mean, movement helps. And sometimes it just helps to walk outside.
Like action, even if it's not necessarily movement. I think any sort of action towards a different space, a different goal, a different energy to shake it up.
Right. And to sit and do journal or do meditate or do those things that get it out. I mean, it's sort of like getting poison out of your body.
Right.
I had to do that. I had to write down my feelings. My feelings are legit, but they're also not always the truth. Just because I feel something and tell myself something doesn't mean it's the truth. And when I read what I was writing, I went, whew, I was really tough on myself.
Yeah.
And I wasn't telling myself the truth. I was telling myself the way I was feeling as opposed to the world coming at me in ways that I felt were unfair or something.
Right. And I think that's the beauty of the journaling is that ability to self-reflect and to see when you are being not yourself, when the other side of you is playing and not you, instead of just allowing that to continue. Because I think where I live is that repeat button. And I think I do want to work on journaling and adding that into my days because when you let it ruminate in your head, it becomes real. When you actually get it out and look at it and go, well, that's not really who I am or really what's happening or going on. I think that's really helpful. So I'm going to make that a goal.
Good. And we talk a lot about, because we're in a relationship, a really strong partnership relationship. Yes. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Welcome to our world. And that helps. I mean, but if you have a therapist, great, good, go. But if you don't have a therapist or can't afford it or whatever the reasons are, someone that you can bounce these things off of and have those difficult conversations, even though, as partners, I'm sometimes just sort of looking at my clock going, when do I get to tell her how ridiculous she's being? Which is wrong, right? But you have to really listen and go, I see what you're doing, but you're playing the old tape again. And I'll do the same thing. We'll play that old tape that says something is wrong with us. Therefore, our lives are not feeling like they are on course.
Yes.
That you're out of balance.
Yes. And I can't rely on you to always be my therapy. That's not fair. While I do think you're the best person for me to talk to, that's a lot on your plate. And so I think we need to take a look and make sure we're not dumping everything on our partner, because I think that's when things get really heavy, that you are everything to me, but you don't have to be. I can use other tools or other people or other friends to help alleviate that. And it's letting somebody else's voice back to you, a different opinion, a different thought, a different idea come into play.
Right. I agree. And we talked about walking with a friend last time, because that's the double bang for your buck. That is the movement. And then sometimes you can say things and things come creatively to, at least to my head. Again, we're talking about us.
Personally, right.
That, when I'm just moving and walking, like when you and I are trying to figure out, what are we going to do about this issue in the studio? What are we going to do about, Liz, what do you think about this move? You're always thinking about something new. And I'm like, okay, let's go walk and talk it out. Yeah. There's a creativity, and that creativity adds to that good mental well-being and emotional well-being.
Our friend Holly at No Shade Spray Tan, who I know you know and love, has big news. And we're so excited for her and always celebrate women and people in our community being successful and doing well and starting new ventures. So she is keeping her mobile spray tan rolling. We are keeping our No Shade discount rolling on the website. She is also, though, next week opening up a new studio. So we are thrilled for her and the whole team at No Shade Spray Tan. What I want you to do is go to noshadespraytanning.com. That's where you can book, find the address, all the FAQs about your spray tan. She's going to be, if you're local, in South Park, and they're going to be located within Salons by JC. Okay, so you can go visit the new studio salon. You can also continue getting your amazing at-home mobile spray tans. You're going to keep getting that No Shade discount of $10 off, both mobile and at the South Park location salon. $10 off your spray tan. I thought of this yesterday when you were having the house pressure washed. Isn't that lovely?
My house looks so,
it's so
good.
Great.
Y'all need to come
all
over.
The surfaces,
and
nice
all
and
the
clean.
surfaces. I mean, we had a death in the yard. Should we talk about that?
Okay.
Talk about mental health. Okay, you brought that up. You were going to make a point. Then can I talk about the death?
I think we should start with the death in the backyard.
There was a death.
2 deaths.
Yeah, so we had this great guy. I love him. I'm not going to tell you his name because I want to. I mean, anyway,
You're hoarding.
I'm hoarding my guy. He came over and he pressure washed the house or the outside and all the bricks and all the good things, and everything looked so good. And then there was this trash can in my backyard that the lid had come off and it had filled up with water, and 2 squirrels had drowned.
I mean, are you going to get in trouble?
I don't know. All I know is you talk about mental health. He called me and he texted me and I said, oh no, I can't handle this.
No, because we were eating.
Well, no. But first of all, I love my squirrels. Most people don't like their squirrels. I do. I have one that sits on his ranch outside.
It was not him.
Well, I hadn't seen him in 3 days. And I have been down. So other people will be, yay, they killed a squirrel. That we were in a
you're
place.
Snow White.
I am. I love my animals in my yard. So this was depressing. But anyway, he took care of that. And when I was out gardening yesterday, I went out, I fed my birds.
Good.
And the guy at Black Hawk was like, you need to get some of this so the squirrels won't eat it. I'm like, oh, no. I want the squirrels to eat this too. They get to have fun too. So anyway, we segued off that because that was a really scary thing. But I got out there and I worked it out and,
did a little
lifted their spirits up into the heavens, knowing that horrible death of drowning in a trash can must have been very painful. Oh, God. Anyway.
I'm sorry, squirrels.
Digressed.
Okay. Anyway, so pressure washing, back to that. kind of using that as an analogy that
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes the dirt builds up
Yes.
and you got to wash it all out.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's a good analogy.
And I like the way it's called
go ahead.
power washing.
Pressure washing.
Oh, in my mind, it was power washing. But I'm going to
Be
call
powerful. Call it whatever the hell you want. Oh my God.
Pressure
You're stealing my analogy.
Sorry.
Stop it. I can talk every now and then. Jeez. Anyway,
yeah,
I think I've made my point.
you have pressure washing is much better.
Okay, but as that relates to mental and physical
Yes.
health,
Yes.
sometimes the dirt builds up. Those I can't look at you. Those thoughts in our head over and over in our hearts or in our feelings, and you need something to represent the pressure washing, that clean out, that flushing out, that really, more powerful moment
Right.
to really start anew. And whatever that is, start the journaling, start with a therapist or a friend. There's great online and call-in services of mental health now that are more affordable. So
But
we have options.
another very cheap way to do it, if you've got a shower in your house, is to go stand under your shower and imagine it washing off of you. I do that every single day when I have my shower. It's really true. I mean, the water, think about the baptism and all those things, the power of water and the cleansing of the water. And you can simply make your everyday patterns of life become spiritual and spiritual cleansing and, releasing and allowing yourself. I mean, who hasn't cried in the shower? And isn't that the best cry ever?
Right.
That's a good cry. I haven't done that in a long time. I need to find a reason and I'm going with the squirrels. I mean, I'm going to go. Yeah. It's, that's a really release of just tension and pressure. And again, it's an action. I'm not saying we shouldn't all meditate. Of course we should, or if you want to. But the action of a body and a human and a mind taking a move toward, I'm going to get myself back to myself. Because myself is not the one, the ego is just like suffering and going through depression. But we're all truly incredible human beings. And on the inside, we're all divine and beautiful. So if we can wash off the dirtiness and the soils of just everyday life through just our small little rituals, like bathing or showering or
and these are all ones you really like. So you've talked about journaling, meditation, showering, bathing, that aspect, movement. What else is there for you?
For me, nourishing my body. I mean, through good food, because I also know that when I eat poorly, I'm going to have that tendency to feel bad. And then that is a really vicious circle into having a bad night's sleep, having weird feelings when you wake up. Like you're going to eat yourself into depression sometimes. So, and a lot of people try to eat their way out of depression, right? I would say mine is movement. My number one is movement.
Okay.
My number two are my everyday rituals. And I really am conscious. The older I get, the more conscious I am about every hour of the day. I mean, every bit of the day is a blessing, even when it doesn't feel like it. And it's probably especially when it doesn't feel like it.
I think you have a really strong ability to reframe.
Yeah.
Often.
Didn't come easy. Didn't come easy.
Is that really just over time?
That really is over time and knowing. And once you've gone through so many challenges in life, and I don't call them problems, you can call challenges anything you want to, disasters. Every challenge is an opportunity. Right. And we're challenged right now with a couple of things, business-wise. And every time I see that business challenge coming, and we've got one right now, it is an opportunity. What are we not seeing here? Why does this hurt so bad? When it goes right here, and you said it did the twisty thing in your gut. Yeah. What is that? And where is that opportunity to untwist that by thinking creatively around and not using your own tape deck to say, this is how we solve this problem. This is how for the last 44 years or 43 years, you've solved a problem. Right. But to say, there's another way and go, I don't see it yet, but it's there. And so that's the way I try to do. But again, I look at my journal, I go, wow, I was really taking that for real. So every day is not going to be happy. Like today is a happy day
That's
for
right.
me.
And I think
Mhm.
what you were talking about with, opportunity for growth is not being comfortable. The very first thing
Right.
we said,
Yeah.
it's like not just going, oh, everything works. Hallelujah. Let's just kind of
Yes.
hold on white knuckle for dear life and hope
Yes.
this stays exactly how it is, because that's just not the way of the world.
Yeah.
And I think what we're really talking about is energy drains and energy lifters,
Mhm.
gains,
Mhm.
and kind of taking inventory. And maybe that isn't a journal. Your journal can look like anything. Yours looks like a scary novel.
It does. No,
I don't read it, but I'm
something-
just, the way you write is.
I do. I'm a prolific writer. And I'm like, I know that I've already told you this. I want you to read my journal one day when I'm dead. Right? Not now. But I think
I
it
don't know if
makes
that's
sense.
fair to leave
No,
you
I
with
think
that.
it makes sense
Yeah.
in the whole. You look at your life as a whole,
Mhm.
right? Every day is not like, oh, I've got this. Oh my God, I am the worst thing that ever walked the planet. This can happen in the same day.
Yeah.
Right? All of it can happen. And the exercise you get from writing your feelings down. And honestly, just sometimes just write what you're doing down. And then the feelings will come with that.
Mhm.
Oh, today I went to a birthday party for a 3-year-old and I saw so and so and so and so and so. And then you'll kind of have feelings or something around that. And you can either jot them or not. But when you read them, and like I always like to go back at the end of the year and read the year that I've written down.
Mm.
And I'm so tempted, and sometimes I actually do. I go and correct it. I'm like,
Oh,
come
wow.
on, Liz,
Oh,
you
wow.
cannot be
Oh,
that
wow.
ridiculous. But I just
You
think
err on the side of drama. So
I do err on the side of drama. I come from a high drama family.
that is really funny. You go back and edit your journal so it doesn't sound as bad.
I don't always.
That
I don't
is
always.
funny.
Yeah,
I can
because
see that.
But
I
you
can see
know,
that.
I mean, it's it can get
That's
so
hilarious.
It can get so dark. But it
Well, I'm
also
glad
can
you
get
saved
so-
that for your journal.
No, but it also, think about this. I mean, write down those lists. I'm a list girl. We all know that by now. I write down the things I like about myself and the things that day I don't like about myself. And generally, I need to pay attention to those things I don't like about myself. And those things I don't like about myself are generally not really me. They're a perception of who I am. And it's always interesting to look at that. And that'll just help you, you know? You're not our goal is not mental health perfection. Just like it's not exercise perfection, just like it's not nutritional perfection, but it's a process of bringing all those together to live a really balanced, healthy, happy, but not joyful. Joy is our word, right? Because happy is up here, sad is down here. Joy can level off right in the middle. And joy can handle depression and it can handle happiness. Joy is a sense of being, at least in my world. So
there you go.
You're like, okay.
No, I love that. I think that's really good. And I think, I'm going to turn it to me since you're not asking me any questions.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just
You're just
bad. I know. It's not the Liz show. It's the Liz and Lee show. Okay, Lee, I want to hear some things. I want to know what you do when you are in a bad mood.
I kind of go into dark hole. That's for sure. I don't have the ability yet or all the time to reframe as well as you do. I take the down the dark hole martyr path generally.
But that's
And
cool.
Kind of beat myself up for a little bit and just kind of be mad or upset or whatever it is and think that I'm the worst person and think that nothing I'm doing is right or well. And that's terrible. But like you said, at least I know that's what I'm doing. I think truly an awareness of your habits is step number one.
Awareness is everything.
And I mean, the movement saves me 100%. It's been who I have been my whole life. It's just an expression of who I am. And if I'm not doing that, then it shows. There's also that balance of getting very tired of teaching and working out. And later when I think a walk would help, I'm like, I'm spent. Getting outside with my kids, I'm spent. So finding that a little bit more balanced, I think is very important. And like anybody else, if I overdo in any way, it drains me. And so in my list, it would need to be what is draining me, what is filling me up. I mean, a couple years ago in, I think, mid-pandemic and your grandson being diagnosed with cancer, I really was struggling mentally. And I went to my internist and had a long conversation, and she prescribed Lexapro. And I'd never thought that that was something I would do. I thought, well, you can always work yourself out of feeling sad or whatever feelings you're having. And at that point, I really needed a medicine. And, you know, that's different for everybody. And I'm taking half of the dose, and I've been doing it ever since. And what she described that is like having a glass that's kind of feeling like it's always overflowing.
Right.
Kind of stops that.
Oh, that's good.
So to have that help, so then that I can work on the tools to manage, right? It's like getting to a place healthily and safely that you can manage, and then start to use these tools that you're able to use better. And I think that's improved a lot to find a even keel ground, that everything is not overdone or overwrought or over dramatic.
I'm really glad you told our audience that, because I remember that it was hard for you to talk about it. You were like, gosh, I felt like you didn't want to have to take that.
Right. Exactly.
But it's such a great, it's been such a helpful tool, right?
Right. Yeah. And there's different types and kinds and doses and whatever. And it's, you know, honestly not something I want to do forever. I don't want anything in my body forever. But if that's what
it works for you
now, then that works. And that is just fine.
Right. Thank you.
Better than the alternative, right?
I mean, life just gets overloaded.
It does.
It really does. And it can catch you by surprise. And sometimes you need just a little help, whatever that extra help is.
I mean, I just went down a dark hole of just thinking about kids and cancer and death all the time. And I needed to just have some help with that.
Right.
To kind of see the light and then put things back into perspective. And I think that's a really normal thing as we blow everything out of proportion. And you look at your journal and you can see that.
I agree.
And so I think to have some sort of archive, written talk, we can record everything, voice memos, talk to a friend, to have that and then look back and reflect is really important. So I really go to the things that bring me joy, either places, you know, I try to put myself there. We've had so many incredible trips and I try to go there and think, I mean, life is really, really
life is rich,
good and rich. And to look at those beautiful things that we have and that we're waking up every day.
The gratitude. And kind of, you know, now that you kind of reminded me of how I was feeling during that when my grandson was going through that, and you really took it really into this. So did I. But I had action. You know, you were ruminating about it. I had action because I was taking care of my granddaughter.
Right.
And my focus became her, and then the dark hole was definitely there to go into if I fell backwards into this darkness of what ifs, and unknowing, and, you know, worrying not only about him, but my, you know, daughter and son-in-law.
Right.
But you didn't have that. And so that was, you know, I've never known that actually about you. So
there it is.
Yeah.
There was a great I'm sorry, I just scratched you.
You've got those sexy nails.
Slutty nails.
Yeah, they're slutty. You should put them up on the camera.
Yeah. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on a podcast, the other day, and talking about her cancer diagnosis.
Yes.
And she related that to a time when she was in the water somewhere on a boat.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
And her husband just goes, "You're going to need to get on the boat. There is a shark in the water." And she said all she could do was look at the ladder and swim. If you thought too much about the shark, if you looked around, if you sat still, if you froze, you're in trouble. So her only mission was to look at the ladder and swim to it. And that's how she also approached cancer. I have a goal. This is what I'm going to. I'm going day by day, treatment by treatment, and I'm going to the ladder. And you don't have control over anything else.
That's probably also a good thing if people are depressed. If you are going through some depression, you just find the goal. I see a way out. There is a light at the end of this tunnel.
Right.
And take the steps one moment and one day at a time toward there. Maybe one day you go out and you walk. and you see how that makes you feel better, or you do this with your, whatever it takes. It's that one step process.
Absolutely.
That was a great metaphor.
It was really good.
For all of that, for not just surviving a disease, but really walking
Day to
through
day.
life, right?
Right. I'm so grateful for all the joy that I do have. The studio and the workout is what I love. It is my community. The people there are everything. Travel is our thing, cooking. Life is full. And
life is full. And remember that. That's the things. I mean, remember how great it is to be with your loved ones, to have that great food. I'm really happy that you love to cook because it is my great joy to see you joyful, and then have the fruits of your work. Literally. And our joy is, while the studio is a lot of work for you, particularly right now with some things going on, and me in other ways. Always. It's also our sense of joy,
right.
Our sense of purpose, this thing that has its own life. And if you can find that thing in your life that really does have its own life, you just go in and you feed it, and it feeds you back. And that's joy.
Yeah. Got to feed the good beast.
Yeah. So
the bad beast.
Yeah. Mental health. Let's keep that up front.
One point too is you don't have to be having depression or sadness or any of the negative feelings to kind of put any of that into play. I think anytime when life feels like it's rolling along well, but maybe you're ready for the next step and you don't know how to do it, that's not like a state of depression. But I think any of these action items are helpful.
That's what we're doing right now. As a matter of fact, when we finish this podcast, we're going on a walk. There's a little bit of rain drizzling outside, which makes me happy. That's what we're going to do. We're going to move now. And what did you say right before this? You were like, should we go walk now, or should we wait?
It's like, can we do something?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you're typing, but I've got to move.
Yeah. So that releases, and it helps. And also the beauty of life is creativity. I mean, if you're constantly being creative, you don't have time to be depressed, and it'll push the depression to the side, not down into your gut. It'll push it out.
Deal with it.
Yeah, you'll just deal with it, because it'll be like, well, that's not really that important anymore. It's not important that I wasn't invited to be with so-and-so and so-and-so, or whatever
that's
those things.
Depression, but
whatever depression is for you, whatever that unhappiness or thing, or that unworthiness that is inside twisting, then those start to unravel a little bit.
Name it, bless it.
And release it. Absolutely. Always.
Good. Well, I hope that you'll go back, take a listen to those episodes in this one if you need a refresher anytime.
Yes,
it's been fun to address all three and know that we're just trying our best and sharing,
just like you,
what we know best. And
we really appreciate you. Our joy is also is doing this, is talking to an audience that you can't talk back, but at the same time, we know you're there, and you do
get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, and you do they get back with us, don't they?
I know, I like it. Some random comments, but
yeah. Especially on YouTube. Because some of you people that like us go on YouTube and say nice things. No, there's a few nice ones there.
We'll hold on to those.
Right? That's right.
Talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, go enjoy the day, everybody.
Yes. And let's go for a walk. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.